everyone, welcome here. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. So it's the time of year when everyone is making resolutions and goals and introducing new habits into their life. So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about some life-changing minimalist habits that I've brought into my life. So I feel like the title of this video sounds a little hyperbolic, like life-changing habits, but honestly, I really do feel like it's true. Adopting some of these minimalist tips that I'm going to give you today really has transformed the way that I feel and my home and the space that I live in particular. I'm someone who is really impacted by the space around me. So if things feel cluttered or dirty or unkept, I have a really hard time finding clarity of thought. I feel like I'm my most productive and creative, and I'm able to do my deepest, most meaningful thinking when things feel in place, when things feel organized, and honestly, when there just is a good energy to the space. So today I'm going to share 10 habits that I've adopted for a more minimalist and decluttered home and life. All right, with all that said, let's dive in. So the first habit on the list is to assign every possession, I'm talking every single thing you own, a home within your home. So this is going to be easy with some items, right? Like your clothes go in the dresser, the plates go in the cupboard, your shoes go in the shoe rack. It's obvious for some things. This gets a little bit harder when you think about those things that don't have really an obvious place, or maybe things that you use and touch all the time. Where does your wallet go, or where do your keys go when you're not using them? Where do those clothes go that you've worn one time but are not dirty yet? So to really have a less cluttered home, you want to think about putting everything away, even those little things. It's those little things that can pile up and make it feel more cluttered inside your home. And that leads very nicely into my second tip, which is to ditch the drop zones. I know drop zones are super popular. A lot of organizers will recommend that you have a drop zone in your house. But here's the thing, I feel like a drop zone is just an undefined place where you can throw things that you don't know where to throw. But really, just give those things a home and you won't need a drop zone anymore. I found that when we had a drop zone like right inside our door, it just was a magnet for clutter. There would be like pocket lint and receipts and loose change and trash. It was an easy place to throw things so you wouldn't have to either put them away or throw them away. So now we've transitioned in this house to just having a bench by the door where we can sit down and put our shoes on and just some hooks to hang up our bag and our coats. And this forces us to go put everything else away because there's nowhere else to put it down. So that actually leads really nicely into my third habit, which is to have less drawers and surfaces in your home. So I'm not telling you to get rid of any of your furniture, right? You keep what adds value in your life. But I've found the more spaces we have to put junk, the more spaces will fill up with junk. So a good example of this is our bedside tables. In previous homes that we've lived in, we've had bedside tables that have multiple drawers and shelves to them. And I can't even tell you now what we kept in there. It was honestly just a bunch of random stuff. It was another place to honestly just hide clutter away. So when we moved out of our van into this house and we were beginning to furnish this house, I was like, do we really need a bedside table with an actual drawer and a shelf? Or do we have enough places to store things in our house already that we don't really need that? In this specific example, I think works for us because our house is very small. So if we need something from the bathroom, it's directly across from our bedroom. We never have to go very far for anything. But the larger, more global point is just considering when you're bringing furniture into your house, do you really need another surface or another drawer to store things? The less surfaces, the less drawers you have, the less places that your husband can leave old receipts and loose change around your house. Just for instance. I love you, Murphy. The fourth habit on the list is one of my personal favorites and one that I mention often here in my videos, and that's to pause before you purchase. The way that I like to do this is by creating a list. So I have an ongoing list of wants and needs, and I will jot them down on that spreadsheet as soon as they pop into my head. But the trick is I will let them sit on that list for at least 2 weeks before I'll purchase it. This is going to give me time to really reflect on and think about if I need to purchase this item, if this is something we want to be spending our money on. And it allows me to be more considered and intentional with the things I actually do purchase. And you can wait as long as you feel like you need to wait. Some people just wait 24 hours, some people wait a month. Just feel out what works for you, and when you feel like the emotional trigger of purchasing is going to subside a little bit, so you can be a little bit more mindful and intentional. The fifth minimalist habit on the list is to create a donation station in your house. For us, this just looks like a bin that we keep in the closet. So anytime we come across something that is no longer useful to us, not adding value to our lives, we can drop it in the donation bin. And what's great about this is it makes decluttering really, really easy. So instead of feeling like you have a huge undertaking of, I gotta go through every single possession, you're constantly living in a state of evaluation of your possessions. So this can be exceptionally helpful to take off a little bit of the stress of feeling like you need to go through everything in your home. And we do keep our donation station. It's really hard to say. Say that 10 times fast. Donation station, donation station, donation station, donation station, snoo. And we do keep our donation station in our guest room in the bottom of the closet. And this is nice because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, meaning that we're very unlikely to go through that and reevaluate something that we've already decided to purge. What can be dangerous is if you keep this by the door, you might see something and be like, nah, I changed my mind, I'm gonna take that out. But you've already hopefully had a careful evaluation of that item and already decided to purge it. So you wanna honor that decision. So if you can find a place, maybe it's out in the garage or again in a closet you're not using in your home, to put your donation station. And right next to our donation station, we also have our trial separation station. These are really hard to say. Trial separation station. Did it. So this is the place, it's kind of like purgatory. It's not getting donated or given away or sold yet, but I'm not really using it. It's not really adding value to me anymore. But there's something about it when I pick it up and I hold it, I'm not quite ready to let it go. So by putting it in the trial separation station, it gives me a little bit of time away from the item to see if I really do miss it. And honestly, what happens probably 90% of the time is I forget what's in there. So then it's really easy for me to be like, I didn't even really miss this thing. I forgot it was in here. I think I'm ready to let it go. So this can be a good practice, especially if you have a hard time letting things go, feeling like you're not letting it go yet, but you're slowly letting it out of your life. The 7th minimalist habit on the list is to release the shoulds. Here's what I mean by that. In order to curate a home that feels like you and feels useful and feels uncluttered, you really have to think about the structure of your own life and what you use on a daily basis and what adds value to you on a daily basis. So let's take, for instance, a living room. Say you're going to decorate your living room or even declutter your living room. You might say in your head, well, it's a living room, so I definitely need a couch and 2 chairs and a coffee table and a media console and my TV and 2 side tables, the things that typically go in a living room. Or you might even be decluttering and say, well, it's a living room, so I have to have these 2 side tables and I have to have this coffee table. But instead of thinking what a living room is, just think about what this space is to you and how you use this space. And instead of just getting or keeping things in your living room because they're living room things, pick and choose things that fit for how you use your living room, right? It's okay if you don't have a coffee table. If you don't want a coffee table, don't get a coffee table. If you don't want to use the space as the living room, if you want to just set it up as your art studio, do that. Minimalism isn't just about having as few things as possible, it's just having intentional things and things that bring value to you. So creating your space is no different. All right, so the next habit on the list I feel like is particularly helpful if you live with other people, and that's to make things easy to put away. If it's easier to leave something out than it is to put away, it's probably gonna get left out. It's really nice to assign everything a home within your home, but if it's a pain in the butt to put it there, that system is not gonna last. So I think about this particularly in the kitchen. And the thing about this habit is that the less stuff you have, the more decluttering that you do, the easier it is to put things away in an accessible way. So when you have more space, it's much easier to grab the thing you need and then have the thing be put back where it came from. So the next minimalist habit on the list is to embrace space. Just because you have the space does not mean it needs to be filled. And this, I think, varies from person to person and what you find aesthetically pleasing, but it's okay to have a clear surface or an empty corner or an empty room. You don't have to fill the space just because you have it. So number 10, and the last minimalist habit on today's list, is to know that it's an ongoing process. Minimalism, decluttering is not a moment in time. A lot of the times it starts kind of with that big purge and that big declutter, but it's a constant state of evolution and it's a constant state of evaluating the things in your life. And as you move through different seasons of life, you might need more or less, or you might have tolerance for more or less in your life. So it's always going to look different, and you're always going to be in the evaluation process of what adds value to your life. So just going in with the mindset of this is a lifestyle and this is a conscious choice I make every single day. All right, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. It really helps my channel a lot and I really, really do appreciate it. I put out new videos every Tuesday, so I will see you next week. Bye everyone. Wow, sitting in this chair is so much more comfortable than sitting on that tiny stool I usually sit on. Why did I not do this a year ago? Oh, these socks are too much. Oh. Ready? Okay. I feel like I might, why can't I get this out? Happy New Year. Shoes go in your shoe rack. The pans go in your pan place. Sorry. Hey, thanks for watching. Bye everyone.